Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayana
Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayashree
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayashu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhagavati Shloke
Bhaktin Bhavatir Naistiki
Bhakti Vinastiti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopakumāraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text number 1. So we are starting a new chapter today. The chapter name is, the canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation, and the chapter name is Answers by Setting the Lord's Version. So the previous chapter we discussed what are the various questions asked by Parshut Maharaj. This chapter, Śukadeva Gosvāmī is giving the answer aligned with the Lord's version. What Lord preached, what Lord explained to Brahma, from aligned with that, so he is giving the answers. So please repeat the sloka behind me. Śrī Śuka uvāca
Śrī-śuka uvāca
ātma-māyām rājan
ātma-māyām rājan
parasyānubhavātmanaḥ
parasyānubhavātmanaḥ
ghaṭetārtha-sambandhaḥ
ghaṭetārtha-sambandhaḥ
svapna-draṣṭur ivāñjasā
svapna-draṣṭur ivāñjasā.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Śrī Śuka uvāca.
Śrī Śukadeva
Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī said,
Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī said,
Atma,
ātma,
Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
āyām,
māyām,
energy,
energy,
rite,
rite,
without,
without,
rājan,
rājan,
working,
working,
parasya,
parasya,
of the pure soul,
of the pure soul,
anubhava-ātmanaḥ,
anubhava-ātmanaḥ,
of the purely conscious,
of the purely conscious,
na,
no,
never,
never,
ghaṭeta,
ghaṭeta,
it can so happen,
it can so happen,
artha,
artha,
meaning,
meaning,
sambandhaḥ,
sambandhaḥ,
relation with the material body,
relation with the material body,
svapna,
swapna,
dream,
dream,
draṣṭuḥ,
draṣṭuḥ,
of the seer,
of the seer,
iva,
like,
like, añjasā,
anjasā,
completely.
completely.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sabha Charanavranda A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, please repeat behind me. Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī said,
Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī said,
O king,
O king,
unless
unless
one is influenced by
one is influenced
the
by
energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
there is no meaning
there is no meaning
to the relationship of the pure soul
the pure soul
in pure consciousness
in pure consciousness
with the material body.
with the material body.
That relationship is
That relationship is
just like a
just like a
dreamer's seeing
dreamer seeing
his own body working.
his own body working.
Purport. Maharaja Parikshit questioned as to how a living entity began his material life, although he is apart from the material body and mind, is perfectly answered. The spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of his life, but he is observed in such a material conception because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord called ātma-māyām. This has already been explained in the first canto in connection with Vyasadeva's realization of the Supreme Lord and his external energy. The external energy is controlled by the Lord, and the living entities are controlled by the external energy, by the will of the Lord. Therefore, although the living entity is purely conscious in his pure state, he is subordinate to the will of the Lord, is being influenced by the external energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, also the same thing is confirmed. The Lord is present within the heart of every living entity, and all the living entities' consciousness and forgetfulness are influenced by the Lord. Now, the next question automatically made will be by why the Lord influenced the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness. The answer is that the Lord clearly wishes that every living entity be in his pure consciousness as a part and parcel of the Lord, and thus be engaged in the loving service of the Lord as he is constitutionally made. But because the living entity is partially independent also, he may not be willing to serve the Lord, but may try to become as independent as the Lord is. All the non-devotee living entities are desirous to become equally as powerful as the Lord, although they are not fit to become so. The living entities are illusioned by the will of the Lord because they wanted to become like him. Like a person who thinks of becoming a king without possessing the necessary qualification. When the living entity desires to become the Lord himself, he is put in a condition of dreaming that he is a king. Therefore, the first sinful will of the living entity is to become the Lord, and the consequent will of the Lord is that the living entity forget his factual life and thus dream of the land of utopia where he may become one like the Lord. The child cries to have the moon from the mother, and the mother gives the child a mirror to satisfy the crying and disturbing child with the reflection of the moon. Similarly, the crying child of the Lord is given over to the reflection, the material world, to lord it over as karmi and to give this up in frustration to become one with the Lord. Both these stages are dreaming illusions only. There is no necessity of tracing out the history of when the living entity desired this. But the fact is that as soon as he desired it, he was put in under the control of ātma-māyā by the direction of the Lord. Therefore, the living entity in his material condition is dreaming falsely that this is mine and this is I. The dream is that the conditioned soul thinks of his material body as I, or falsely thinks that he is the Lord and that everything in connection with the material body is mine. Thus, only in dream does the misconception of I and mine persist life after life. This continues life after life as long as the living entity is not purely conscious of his identity as the subordinate part and parcel of the Lord. In his pure consciousness, however, there is no such misconceived dream, and in that pure conscious state, the living entity does not forget that he is never the Lord, but that he is eternally the servitor of the Lord in transcendental love. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकये चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाशाशतेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today's sloka, it is the new chapter we started. In this chapter, Śukadeva Gosvāmī is giving the answers, whatever the questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj in the previous chapter. So first he is starting with about the relationship with the Lord and how the living entity is thinking himself in this material world. So here the first he is mentioning that he is giving the answer to Parikshit Maharaj. He is saying that unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. So that relationship is just like a dreamer's seeing his own body working. So in dream, we can see, we all have the experience. When we get the dream, we used to see ourselves in the dream. Sometimes the tiger, it is chasing us. So we are running and something happening with us. We are able to see ourselves within the dream. So if we are not having the connection in this material world, when we are in this material world, if we are not feeling that connection with the material, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that life is like a dream. Like how when we are dreaming, we are thinking, we are seeing ourselves. The similar way, we are ourselves working in some other activity, we are doing some activity. So that relationship, whatever the relationship in this material world will be, with the Supreme Lord will be like that only. It will be a dream only. So if sometimes the tiger is chasing us, suddenly we are waking up, or then we are seeing that nothing is happening. This is just a dream. So which is not happening, but it's just a dream. Similar way, in this material world, if our relationship is not pure and purely connected with the Supreme Lord, that this life is like a dream only. That's what Śukadeva Gosvāmī is explaining over here. And so why Prabhupada is explaining in this purport, why the living entity coming in this material world. So this material world is the external energy of the Lord, and the living entity or living entities are controlled by the eternal energy of the Lord. So indirectly, so the Lord provides some authority to the Maya Devi, and she is controlling this material world, but she is also under the control of the Supreme Lord. So like the government is there, and there is a policeman. So policeman acting in our place, the government, who is the government, and on behalf of government is working. But whatever the government rules and regulations, he will abide of that and he will work. The similar way, the Maya Devi, she is working as a policeman over here under the guidance of the Supreme Lord. Whatever the Supreme Lord provide the rules and regulations, and he is obeying that, and he is following that, and he is taking care of this external energy of this Lord, which is this material world. And even though this is, and since she is also under the control of the Supreme Lord, so that is the beauty. So she is also under the control of the Supreme Lord, and she is controlling the living entities. And Lord is there as a Paramatma in our heart. So that's what Lord himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaham vidhi sannivisto mattaha smidirjnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarve raham yeva vedyo vedanta krit veda vidyeva chaham. Even though we are reading this sloka many times, in many classes we are reading again and again, but still we are not able to realize. Many times we'll forget, we'll feel, we are not able to feel that. What is the meaning of this sloka? I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. But all the Vedas, all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So the first line, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So we are all reading this, but we are not able to fully realize that. Sometimes, whenever we are hearing such lectures, then we are remembering that, oh, Lord is there in my heart, and he is from him only remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness is coming. But 99.9% of the people, they don't know this, that Lord is there and he is giving the remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Even the devotee also, the person, devotee who perfectly realized that devotees leave all this material conception of life and they will go and serve, they dedicate their life for serving the Supreme Lord only. Since we are not yet realized these words, we are still working under the Maya Devi. So that is the reason this remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness, it is provided by the Lord and he is seated in everyone's heart. So when we realize that everyone's heart, it's in my heart and even in the other living entity's heart also, Lord is there. That means this is, our body is like a temple. So, and when by seeing others, we will see as a temple of God. Instead of now how we are seeing, hey, this is the Pakistani, is the Indian, we are opposite people, so we will fight each other. This is my land, this is your land. Like that, we are fighting each other. But everyone understand that Lord is sitting in everyone's heart, that from him, remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness is coming. And we need to give respect because Lord is there. Lord himself is coming in the Paramatma, is sitting in others' heart also. So when that realization is comes means, so if you remember, if you imagine that kind of situation, what will happen? There is no chaos in the society because everyone, if they realize that Lord is sitting there in the other living entities' heart also, that means there will not, they won't do any harm to the other living entities. And also, currently in the material world, because of this influence of the Maya, the I and mine are there. That's what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. I and mine. So I am this body, I am taking care of all this, whatever, who are all, and I'm controlling this. Suppose even a small person taking care of his family, he is thinking that I am taking care of, I am the master of this family. I am controlling this family. And the king, who's the president or president of the multiple countries, they're also thinking that I am controlling this state, I'm controlling this country. Like that, they are thinking. So because of this controlling nature, and they are thinking that they are not there. I am whatever I can, I'm thinking I can do in this world. That's what they are thinking, and that is the reason there are so many chaos happening. And if there is, because of the false ego, it is triggered by each other. The fight is happening, the war is happening here and there. And the war is inevitable in this material world because why the war is inevitable? Because of the first line, this line. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. This knowledge is not there. This one line knowledge is not there with all the living entities. Even though we are also reading this, but we are not able to realize completely these words. We are not observed in these words, whatever it is Krishna is saying in this. Because we are also sometimes acting as a master. Oh, I am the master. Because Lord gave the small independence to us to act in this material world. With this small independence, we are thinking that we are the doers. But originally, the doer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes. So when the living entity fully observed in this thought that I am the doer and this is mine, this is so you see the sannyasis or the pure devotees, they never say that they never had anything on their own. They will say that nothing mine in this material world. Those people are called the pure devotees and Maharajas. We are saying the Maharajas. So usually the Raja or Maharaja, they are we'll call them as a king. So king supposed to be possessing everything. Everything belongs to the king. In this material world, if some king is there, their province is there, he's controlling that province means everything belongs to the king. So he is the controller of that place. But the sannyasis who is not possessing anything, we are calling them as a Maharaja. So means Maharaja means it's above than the Raja. It is a big Raja, like that. So big king, like that. That is Maharaja. So why we are calling them as a Maharaja? Because they controlled their senses and they understood this world that nothing belongs to me in this material world. We are all thinking that it belongs to me. This place is belong to me. This is my wife. This is my children. This is my bike, this is my car, everything, this is my office, like that, everything, mine, my, like that, we are connecting ourselves with that falsely. This is the false conception of life. So, because of this illusion, we are not able to, we are, and because of the, and also the controlling nature, we are remain in this material world. And when we understand that word, Lord is sitting in my heart and everything belongs to the Lord, and Lord only giving the remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. So now the many people are proud of their knowledge. We send the Chandrayaan from here to there. We fought like this. We won everything. All this knowledge, all this intelligence, who is providing? From the Lord, it is coming. So in this material world, there are in our body, this is our body, and inside of that body, the living entity is residing as a soul, and the mind is controlling both body and the soul. The spirit soul is pure consciousness, which is very pure, which is there in the spiritual world only. But because of this, the enjoying propensity, the spirit soul came to this material world. Lord sent this, how the reflection. So this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So the reflection, it is kind of a illusion only. Won't be originality, won't be there in this material world. That is why it is called a reflection. So if you are, that's what Prabhupada is giving the example of the small child. The small child wanted to have the moon in his hand. So immediately the mother, what she is doing, she is giving a mirror to the small child. The small child holding that mirror towards the moon. Then what is happening? The moon's reflection is happening in the mirror. So the child is satisfied. Okay, I am having my moon, I am having this moon in my hand. The child is satisfied because that understanding is not there. That moon is very big and it is far away. We cannot have the moon. Those understanding is not there with the child. Since he is able to see the reflection of the moon, the child is satisfied there. The similar way, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, and the living entities are enjoying because they wanted to enjoy like how the Lord is enjoying in the spiritual world, and we are all supposed to be a servant of the Supreme Lord. But when we envy on that Supreme Lord, that I also wanted to enjoy like the Lord, then Lord sending us to this material world. We don't know when we came to this material world, and how long we were in this, how many births we took. All those things we don't have. We don't want to research also because we have very little time in this material world. Suppose somebody fell on the swimming pool who don't know the swimming, so we won't think that how this fellow or some small child, how this small child fell on this the pool, and from where he walked, where he come. We won't think all those things. The person who knows the swimming, what will happen? Immediately the person jump into the pool and he will save the child. He won't think about, and the child also, the person who fell on the swimming pool, he also won't think how I fell on this swimming pool, where my legs got slipped. All those things he won't think. Immediately what he will think, how can I rescue myself from this pool? That is the way the living entity will think. The person will think who's accidentally fell on the swimming pool. The similar way, accidentally we came to this material world. We don't want to think what I did because of that I came to this material world, how many births I took, and how many births I am going to take. All those things we don't want to think. Because if you think all those things, it will take, you may get or may not get the answer for that. So that's why it is unnecessary. So the saving ourselves, suppose the person who fell on the swimming pool, saving ourselves is the first important thing. To come out of this pool is the important thing, irrespective of how he fell on this pool. So similar way, we already fell on this material world. So how to come out of this material world? That is the important thing. And when we are in this material world, we are all karmis. Karmi. That means, karmi means doing the activities for our self, for our own enjoyment and to gratify our senses. When we are giving up the result of whatever the activities we are doing, when we giving out the result, those result to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then whatever the activities we are doing, that is become a karma yoga. So that is the reason to understand this difference, karmi and karma yoga, we are coming into this material world. And here the living entity first is the illusion or in the ignorance. The living entity started with the sense gratification. Then when the time passes and slowly it is progress, it's by the mercy of the Lord, he started understanding, he's taking the frustration in this material world. Then he started thinking that why I am this material world, how to go out of this material world. Then only it will think. The person who is enjoying this material world, who don't have not feeling any problem in this material world, those they will think about go out of this material world. They will always think about how can I make myself in this make perfect myself. How can I enjoy more in this material world? They will think about that only. So that is the reason our politicians, there are so many scams are happening because they not realize that this material world is, we have to get out of this material world. They wanted to enjoy more and their upcoming generation also wanted to enjoy. So that is the reason they are accumulating the wealth. Even they are accumulating, they are not able to enjoy. That they are not realizing that. They are not realizing that my life is very short and I'm not going to take anything in this material world. And also whatever there in this material world, these are all like stones and pebbles only here in this material world. But when we go to the spiritual world, there whatever it is there, everything, it is full of opulences are there in the spiritual world. So that we left that material spiritual world with the spiritual world made up of diamond, pearls, gold, silver, like that in the spiritual world, everywhere we can see. The same reflection here in this material world, we can see stones and pebbles, mud, water, air, only we are seeing here. This is just a reflection. So we are satisfied with this mud, air, water. But what we are missing, the original diamond, gold, everything we are missing, which is the highest value. But we are holding this valueless, this material world. This is my big land. This is my land, and this many acres I have. So these are all just a illusion only. So whatever we are possessing in this material world, we are not going to take even a small piece, small pin size. How much the tip of the pin, how much space it will accommodate. We cannot take even that much space also. Even we cannot take that small pin also with us. So while leaving this material world. So that person, the pure devotees of the Lord who knows this perfectly, they will in the perfect situation in this material world. They won't try to accumulate wealth. They won't try to waste their time for sense gratification. So they understood their position, that my position is the servitor. I need to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is my position. So I cannot take anything from this material world. This whatever there in this material world, to take care of my body and soul together, and I will serve the Supreme Lord until I will be there in this material world. So that is our swadharma. Our swadharma means, what is our swadharma means? Our own dharma. So our own dharma is always serving the Supreme Lord is our swadharma. Whether we are in this material world or in the spiritual world, that is our swadharma. But unfortunately, the living entities coming into this material world, they are leaving that swadharma and they are getting into the sense gratification and accumulating the wealth. So over the period of time, it will take many births, millions of births. After that, they will, after the frustration of this material world, only the matured living entity only try to come out from this whirlpool. So otherwise, until that time, they will be in the whirlpool of birth and death. So the person who is thinking that, okay, I need to come out of this, I'm frustrating with this material world and the material opulences, everything. I wanted to stop this repeated birth and death. When the living entity understanding that, then they will start, then Lord will give the intelligence to come out from this. So if that also giving by the Lord, mercy of the Lord only, that intelligence also will, Lord will give, and he will send the spiritual master to enlighten us and take us back to the Godhead. So this is the entire thing. So this is today's sloka. Parashut Maharaj is saying that if we are not connecting with the Lord, the pure consciousness, with the pure soul in this material world, then what will happen? We will be like a dreaming in this material world. A dreamer, in the dream, we are seeing ourselves, we are seeing tiger and is chasing us. It's just a dream. There is no value to that. The similar way, the material world, if we don't connect with the Supreme Lord, then There is no value for this life. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.